Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadara Srivasari Brinda Om Namo Bhagavati Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavati Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavati Vasudevaya Krishne Swadamopagati Dharmagyanadivi Saha Karunastadrisham Meja Puranarko Junorditaha. This Bhagavat Purana, Srimad Bhagavatam, is as brilliant as the sun, and it has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, and so on. Persons who have lost their vision because of the dense darkness of ignorance in the age of Kali will get light from this Purana. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitang Jena Bhutari Swayam Rupakadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Namam Vishnu Parayam Krishna Prishtaya Bhutarim Srimate Bhaktivedantam Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paskyacha Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityanandam Shri Advaita Gadadharam Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Vanchakapatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaivacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadharam Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. 5,000 years ago, there was a king. He was the king of this entire world, the emperor. His name was Maharaja Parikshit. One day, the king decided to tour his kingdom. Sometimes a king will travel incognito to discover what the citizens are thinking and what they're saying about the government. And in this way, they would learn ways to improve the situation. But on this day, the king was not traveling incognito. He was in the forest with an entire entourage. And all of a sudden, for some reason unbeknownst to him, he became very thirsty and hungry, which is very unusual for King Parikshit, because King Parikshit happened to be a pure devotee. And it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita that for one who has transcended the three modes of material nature, the threefold miseries of material existence no longer exist. What are those three modes? Adi-atmika, adi-bautika, and adi-daivika. Miseries coming from the mind, other living entities, and natural disturbances. And the body. Now, Maharaj Parikshit, being a pure devotee, had not experienced this, and so he was quite astonished. He managed to find a hermitage in that forest, and upon entering the hermitage, he noticed a yogi in the lotus sitting position in deep meditation. Now, the yogi didn't welcome the king in accordance with the Vedic etiquette. In Vedic times, it was understood that whenever anyone enters one's place of residence, the proper etiquette, even if that person is your enemy, is to treat that person like God. To at least offer them a nice sitting place, some food, something to drink, nice conversation. But because this yogi was so deeply absorbed in meditation, he wasn't even externally conscious. He had no idea that the king had entered his hermitage. And the king, being under the influence of a very special type of illusory energy, a spiritually illusory energy called Yoga Maya, which affects the living entities differently than Mahamaya. Mahamaya helps the rebellious, insane living entities that decide that they want to imitate Krishna's position as the controller of destiny by experiencing an illusion that prevents them from perceiving his presence, so that they don't have to know that they're not in control. And so Maya, this illusion, provides this facility to allow one to forget one's relationship with Krishna as Jivera Swarupahoya, Krishnera Nitya Das. Krishna is everywhere, so everyone is part of him, just as the hand, which is part of the body, is constitutionally designed to be engaged in the service of the body and is naturally satisfied in that relationship by serving the body some nice foodstuffs and becoming naturally nourished. Similarly, we, as part and parcels of the Supreme Personality, are meant to be engaged in a loving relationship with Him. That is our natural, eternal, constitutional position in relation to the Supreme Lord. We are eternally parts and parcels and therefore meant to be engaged in service. If you love someone, naturally you want to please them, to serve them. Regardless of whether we know this or not in our conditioned state, that is our natural, original state of consciousness. But Parikshit Maharaja was under the influence of a different type of illusion. Not Mahamaya, but Yoga Maya. What does yoga mean? Yoga means to link with the Supreme. Technically, it means yoke, like the yoke that is placed on the oxen that tills the fields, that churns in a rotation. And so similarly, we are connected with Krishna, and the process by which we awaken that dormant realization is called yoga, to unite with the Supreme or reunite, because it's not an artificial imposition on the mind, it's simply a matter of awakening our original state of consciousness. And then again, Maya means the illusion, the illusory energy. And so Yoga Maya means the spiritual illusion that instead of preventing our perception of the relationship we have with the Supreme Personality and His superior position, it affects the devotee and enhances somehow or other that relationship that the devotee has. In this case, the special arrangement was made for Maharaj Parikshit to experience hunger and thirst, which induced him to enter this hermitage, and then to become perturbed by the yogi who did not welcome him properly. Of course, he had an excuse, a perfectly good excuse. He was absorbed in meditation on Krishna, and he was not externally conscious. But the king, under the influence of this special illusory energy, became so perturbed that he stormed out of the hermitage. And on the way back to the palace, he noticed a dead snake on the path. And under the influence of this Yoga Maya potency, he considered it perfectly befitting to take the dead snake back to the hermitage and garland the yogi with it. Now, when the yogi regained his external consciousness, he noticed the snake, and because of his elevation in devotion, he was aware of all that had happened. It is stated that on the path of devotional service, all the benefits acquired from all the other types of yogic practices, even the mystic yoga practices, are immediately acquired automatically when one becomes purely devoted to Krishna, as the yogi was. And so, when he realized all that had happened, he considered it totally insignificant. Took the snake, tossed it to the side, and that was the end of it for him. But not for his son, Shringi. Shringi was aware of what had happened, and he, his little boy, was outraged. How dare this king, who is subordinate to my father, belonging to the upper class, the Brahmin, the priestly order that directs the administration, how dare he offend my father? This shall not go unpunished. So the boy gathered all of his friends, and they went to a sacred river. And in the midst of all the other boys, this son of the yogi, Shringi, declared a curse upon the king. This king shall die within 7 days from this day. Now, when news got back to the king about the curse, he, being a pure devotee, considered that he had actually committed a great offense. This is the humility of the pure devotee, that even though he's being influenced by this special spiritual illusory potency, he was so humble that he considered himself an offender at the lotus feet of the Brahmin, and that he deserved whatever reaction was destined. And at that point, he decided to renounce his entire kingdom. Again, he was the emperor of the entire world, and because he followed the system of Varnashrama Dharma, the only God-given system of social and spiritual organization, that when a society submits to the authority of God and adopts this system, the king becomes so empowered that he literally doesn't even have to tolerate bad weather for his citizens. What to speak of all the other anomalies and problems that literally plague a materialistic-centered society like ours. God becomes so pleased that he provides jewels that are so effulgent that you don't even need light bulbs. They would be provided by God in the riverbeds and the caves and various different places on the planet. And the palaces, the golden walls were embedded with these effulgent jewels. Who can imagine how beautiful that is? This king, his kingdom was so opulent that the demigods, the residents of the higher planetary systems, the heavenly planets, were envious. And yet, when he got news of the curse, although he could have very easily counteracted it, being a pure devotee, decided that it was the mercy of the Supreme Lord and the special arrangement of the Lord who had protected him from death while within the womb of his mother Uttara, when Ashwatthama released the powerful weapon known as the Brahmastra and attempted to kill this child destined to be the king. Krishna protected him. And now he understood that Krishna has arranged for him to leave this world. And so that fabulously opulent kingdom he renounced and left with no more consideration than one would leave stool in the bathroom after passing. No more attachment than that to it. And he immediately went to a holy place where sages were gathered. If one travels to a holy place of pilgrimage, it is advised that that one would just go to bathe in the river, this holy river, but to seek out the sages residing in those holy places and inquire from them. And so this is what Maharaja Parikshit did. And he began to inquire from others there, and his question on his mind was, what is the most appropriate duty for a person who's about to die? And news began to spread all over the planet, and sages were appearing and arriving on the scene, and even demigods and sages from the heavenly planets, because Maharaj Parikshit had become so famous, were appearing on the scene, and each of them had different advice for the king. Now, while all this is going on, in a different place, there was a birth about to take place. Srila Vyasadeva, the great sage, the individual who is understood to be an incarnation, a literary incarnation of the Supreme Lord, who compiled all the Vedic literatures, had impregnated his wife 16 years prior to this day. And while his wife was pregnant, he taught the child within the womb transcendental knowledge. Now, initially, this child was an impersonalist, an individual that accepted the impersonal feature of the Lord and actually had perfected that knowledge and realized even his oneness with the Lord and had perception of this effulgence known as the Brahmajyoti, the effulgent rays emanating from the body of the Supreme Lord. But he had no information about the personal form and one's relationship with the Lord until his father explained it to him while he was within the womb. Now remember, Srila Vyasadeva is a pure devotee. Krishna has personally accompanied him. That's why he is known as Shaktyavesh Avatar, the incarnation. And so he is somehow or other able to communicate